Welcome back to The Truth Travels. Today, we're unlocking one of the strangest mysteries of our modern world. A mystery that questions our memories, our history, and perhaps even the very nature of reality itself. It's called the Mandela Effect. At first, it might sound like just a fun internet trend, people misremembering logos, movie quotes, or historical events. But the deeper you dive, the more unsettling it becomes. Millions of people around the world remember things differently than they really are. Not just one or two people, but entire groups, entire generations. So what's going on? Are we all just misremembering? Is it the brain playing tricks? Or are we experiencing glitches in reality? Moments where timelines shift, and we're left with fractured memories of alternate worlds? Stay tuned, because today we're going to dive deep into the origins of the Mandela Effect, the strangest examples, the scientific explanations, the wild theories, and finally ask the ultimate question: is reality glitching? But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to The Truth Travels. Hit that like button and drop a comment below with the Mandela Effect that blew your mind the most. Now, let's step into the glitch, where it all began. The Mandela Effect gets its name from one man, Nelson Mandela, the South African revolutionary and president. In the early 2000s, a strange phenomenon began to spread online. People swore they remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. They recalled watching his funeral on TV. Some even remembered world leaders paying tribute. But there was one problem. Mandela didn't die in prison. He was released in 1990, went on to become president of South Africa, and lived until 2013. The strange thing wasn't just that people misremembered. It was that so many people remembered the exact same false event. They weren't just confused, they were convinced. This sparked the first conversations around what became known as the Mandela Effect, a term coined by Fiona Broome, a paranormal researcher who discovered she wasn't alone in this bizarre memory. She and thousands of others remembered a reality where Mandela died decades earlier. So what happened? Did millions of people's memories glitch all at once? Or did they slip from one version of reality into another? The strangest Mandela Effect examples. Over the years, more and more Mandela effects have been discovered. So many, in fact, that entire communities now track them. Let's explore some of the most famous and disturbing. 1. The Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstein Bears. Ask anyone who grew up in the 80s or 90s. They'll tell you they read the Berenstein Bears books. Stein with an E. But every copy in existence says Berenstein with an A. For many, this is the Mandela Effect that broke their trust in memory forever. 2. Luke, I am your father. Everyone knows this legendary line from Star Wars. Except, it was never said. The actual line is, "No, I am your father." Yet millions quote it the other way. 3. The Monopoly Man's monocle. Picture him right now. Does the Monopoly mascot have a monocle? Most people say yes, but in reality, he never did. 4. Pikachu's tail. Fans of Pokemon swear Pikachu's tail once had a black tip at the end, but officially, it never did. Chapter 5. Looney Tunes versus Looney Tunes. Generations of kids grew up watching Looney Tunes, except it's always been spelled Looney Tunes. 6. The Fruit of the Loom logo. Most people remember it with a cornucopia, that horn-shaped basket behind the fruit. But check it today, it has no cornucopia. Febreze versus Febreze. Was the fabric freshener spelled Febreze with 2 E's? Many remember it that way, but it's always been Febreze with 1. 8. Mirror, mirror on the wall. In Disney's Snow White, the famous line isn't mirror, mirror. It's magic mirror on the wall. Yet for decades, mirror, mirror has lived in our culture. 9. Curious George's tail. The beloved monkey. Many swear he had a tail, but he never did. 10. Oscar Mayer versus Oscar Mayer. Generations sang the jingle, "My bologna has a first name. It's Oscar." But here's the twist. The company is spelled Oscar Mayer, not Meyer, and this is just scratching the surface. Entire lists of Mandela effects exist online, from geography changes to brand logos to historical details. The question is, are we misremembering, or is something far stranger happening? The science of false memories. Psychologists have studied the Mandela Effect as a case of collective false memory. The brain doesn't work like a hard drive. It doesn't store perfect copies of the past. Instead, every time we recall a memory, we reconstruct it. And in that reconstruction, errors can creep in, add in suggestion, culture, and repetition, and false memories can spread like wildfire. If a movie parody misquotes a line, millions may adopt that as the truth. Over time, the false version becomes more real in people's minds than the actual version. Cognitive science explains it with terms like confabulation and schema errors. Our brains fill in missing details with what feels right. The Monopoly man should have a monocle. Pikachu should have a black tail tip. That's how memory smooths out gaps. But skeptics point out, if it's just bad memory, why do millions of unrelated people share the exact same wrong memory? Why do people across countries, cultures, and ages remember the same false version of events? That's where science ends and mystery begins. Now let's get into the strange stuff. The theories that make the Mandela Effect more than just psychology. 1. Parallel universes. One of the most popular explanations is that we're slipping between parallel timelines. In one universe, the Berenstein Bears existed. In another, it was Berenstein. At some point, the timelines crossed, and we carried memories from one into another. 2. The simulation hypothesis. What if we're living in a computer simulation? If reality is code, then Mandela effects might be patch updates. The programmers change something, and our memories reveal the glitch. Think of it like a video game where small details get updated, but the players still remember the old version. 3. CERN and the Large Hadron Collider. Some people blame CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. They claim that high-energy experiments might have disrupted timelines, merging realities together. Did the search for the Higgs boson particle accidentally rewrite history? 4. Quantum mechanics. Quantum physics already suggests particles can exist in multiple states until observed. Some theorists extend this idea to reality itself. Perhaps we live in a quantum multiverse where observation locks in certain versions of reality, but sometimes the lock slips. 5. Spiritual and metaphysical theories. Others believe the Mandela Effect is spiritual, that humanity is ascending to a new dimension, or that consciousness itself is shifting. In this view, the Mandela Effect is a symptom of a deeper awakening. At first glance, the Mandela Effect might seem harmless, just funny examples of people remembering wrong. But it raises profound questions. If our memories can't be trusted, how do we know what's real? If entire groups misremember together, is reality something fixed or something fluid, shaped by belief and consensus? And perhaps the scariest thought, what if the Mandela Effect is happening on a much bigger scale? What if entire pieces of history have shifted and we have no way to prove it? For some, the Mandela Effect is proof that the universe is stranger than we ever imagined. For others, it's a cautionary tale about how fragile memory really is. So, is the Mandela Effect just faulty memory, or is reality glitching? The answer may depend on what you believe. One thing is certain, the Mandela Effect reminds us that the world is full of mystery. Whether it's brain science, parallel universes, or simulation glitches, it forces us to question the very ground beneath our feet. Thank you for watching The Truth Travels. If you enjoyed this journey, hit like, comment with your favorite Mandela Effect, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our world. Remember, the truth travels further than you think.